Weather forecast for today, mostly just talking about the heat index, also that air quality alert, and our rain chances are there, but they're pretty slim because of that big high pressure. And it looks so much like summer, the pale blue kind of hazy look to the sky. That's the Saharan dust kind of look. And also a few fair weather cumulus clouds right now. No rain at this point, although we might have a couple of showers or storms later this afternoon. Temperatures, look at this, already at 90 degrees. And here this feels like temperatures just as expected, up to about 100 at the lunch hour, probably getting to about 105 in our little cluster over here near Thibodaux and Raceland. I've noticed it has been running really consistently a few degrees higher than everyone else, so might be running a bit high for those gauges, but certainly feeling like about 100 for all of our different locations, just about. You can see that'll last into the afternoon. This is your heat index forecast for today. While our temperatures get into the lower and maybe close to middle 90s, our feels like temperature will eventually be getting from 100, dropping through the 90s this evening. Again, as I pointed out earlier, we have the air quality alert with that Saharan dust. But again, we have southwest winds, and although winds are not very strong, that's just kind of like the flow right now. As we move into tomorrow, it changes and becomes slightly more southeasterly, so some of the densest dust might be just out to the west. But this is really a big player in why we're seeing that air quality alert, and also, the rest of our weather really controlled this week by this upper high. So this will take us through Friday. Notice that it's all across the southeast and into the midsection of the U.S. too. It kind of just retreats a little bit to the west. But look at this, by the weekend and Father's Day including, it starts to settle right back over our part of the U.S. Not that it really leaves us at all, but it will be centered right over us. So high pressure brings that sinking air, downward motion. It compresses and warms. It makes it hard for storms to build, but often with high pressure systems, you can still, especially for us with so much moisture in our atmosphere, we can still get some little pop-up showers and storms with a big high pressure spot over us. And also it's making the air kind of stagnant. It's not allowing a lot of movement of the air to disperse those dust particles like we would normally see if we had a typical kind of breeze here and there and some movement to the air. But that high, it's just that downward stable sinking motion. No rain on radar at this point. Our high today will be about 93 or 94. And we do have a couple of storms possible in the late afternoon, kind of like the past couple of afternoons. Not everyone at all will see the rain, but there might be a couple of downpours here and there. Our temperatures tonight in the 70s and mostly quiet. And here's our model. Now notice it is going with some rain that we're not actually seeing, so it may be overdoing it, but it does continue to show at least a trend where we might have a few isolated downpours, and then moving into the evening hours, everything kind of quiets down. So very typical for these storms to kind of capitalize on the heat of the day and spring up and then go back down. Now in the tropics, that big high also protects us from anything in the tropics, so we don't have any threats, but we have been for the past couple of days watching this little area. It's just a trough of low pressure. It's nothing formed or even very close to forming yet or organizing, but it does have a 20% chance of development in 2 days, so probably not going to happen, and then only a 40% chance of development right now in the next 5 days. So that would take us all the way into the weekend, and by that point it will probably have moved off to the northwest. And it kind of depends. If it stays out with some of this low pressure trying to consolidate over the warm waters of the Caribbean, it'll have that chance to develop. But if it kind of hugs the coast of Honduras and Nicaragua, it probably won't, because it needs to be over that water to really use it for fuel and get organized. But again, for us, we have the high, so the movement with this we're expecting is just kind of inland in Central America or maybe into Mexico. So still plenty of time to track it. We will keep you updated, but the next name on the list after Alex, which we've already gone through so far this year, the next name would be Bonnie. Here's your 7-day forecast. Not a lot of drastic changes. Slightly higher chance for rain maybe Thursday through Saturday, still just about 30%, and then a hot, dry forecast for Father's Day.
All right, thank you, Alexandra. As hurricane season gets busier, there's one storm prep tip you probably